Well, how about that? Went through the whole noodling, and then you guys didn't get to hear it. Sorry about that. So that's too bad. I didn't switch on auto start. So I guess that was the problem with that. Yes, apparently I do need to rest. Love and the light. I was, as you know, not very perky yesterday, and it's still. I don't know. I was really not well yesterday at all. So don't know what exactly is going on. I will say that my lovely bride tried to get me to go to the hospital. Nothing doing, man. Not doing it. I'm sure I'll be fine. However, never one to be, well, I don't give up easy. So we are simply going to forge ahead and continue to this morning with a couple of pieces. First, we're going to do Proverbs 3 as well as Psalm 3. So Proverbs 3, and let's see here. I'll get a little bit of this background music going for you, as I am wont to do on some of these items here. So, yes, I know it'll take longer. I will rest, I promised. I slept most of the day yesterday, unfortunately. I am scheduled to head out to Ceiling Man's house later today, although I can't be 100% on whether or not that is going to happen simply because of how I'm feeling right now. It's I just simply was not able to get a 4-hour period where I wasn't hurling. I guess I'll put it that way. So in any case, good morning. Welcome, Chelsea, and welcome, David. And exactly right. I have no fear of any nonsense of any such sort. It's not going to be a problem. I may not feel terrific now, but all is well. So we'll jump in this morning's with Proverbs 3. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commandments in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who will gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver, and yields far better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways. All her paths are peaceful. She is a tree to life to those who will take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations, and by understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the watery depths were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is within your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you," when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor, who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they've done you no harm. Do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways. For the Lord detests the perverse, but takes up the upright into his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. It's Proverbs 3. I'd like to share with you some of the reading that I've done this morning from the book of Psalm. I have been spending a good deal more time of late, the last couple of weeks, in reading through the Gospels again, the story of Jesus' ministry on earth. And I got to say, it always, or I could say it never fails to surprise me, flummox me even. That no matter how many times I read these stories, how many times I read these words, I always find something new every time. Every time. I always find something I didn't catch before, some very intriguing, some curious, but I always find something new. It's interesting. And what I noticed, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, is that in the last couple of months, what I've noticed is nearly half, at least so far, and maybe I just don't know enough to know, nearly half of the things Jesus said were either direct quoting from Scripture, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Proverbs, Moses, or it's a paraphrase. He retells some of the parables told in the Old Testament. Remarkable. I was really kind of shocked, honestly, when I discovered just how much of it. Yeah, really, not even counting Mandela effect, right, David? For sure. But no, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And so I've been going back and forth, reading the Old Testament, some of the major prophets, as well as going back and forth to really the gospel, what we would call the good news of the gospel of Jesus. I'm sure I'll be back into more of the later New Testament stuff following that, but it is pretty remarkable. Hey, Mark, great to have you here with us. I did get your email, and I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. I haven't been, the last couple of days, unfortunately, and who knows what'll happen. I've never had anything like this. My wife was joking with me. She was like, "You've got the Rona." Like, it's not the Rona, I promise you. But it is a little something that I haven't really experienced like this before. So it's kind of gross. But hopefully, it'll all be well. Okay, so come back here to Psalm 3, and I'll read this from the King James Version. And this is when his son Absalom was fighting him for the kingship of Judah. Yeah, he does actually quote some of the apocryphal messages as well, enough that we know that he gets his seal of approval, if you will. All right, Psalm 3, and this again is, I'd be the first, I know, right? For sure. All right, so this is Psalm 3 from the King James Version. Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. But you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of my head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept, and I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, and save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all of my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing is upon your people. Psalms 3. From time to time, I get, comments on videos. And I really, truly appreciate... let's see if I can find this one here. Let's see if I can find... So, the questions, the honest, genuine questions that people have, even if they are, from time to time, difficult questions, I strongly approve of those. You should ask the difficult questions. I'm not a big fan of people wanting to challenge things or prove themselves in some way. It's like, if that's the way you see it, then that's the way you see it. That's fine. Don't try to convince me of what I clearly see something a different way and say so. And then you want to tell me what you think? Okay, that's fine. Tell me what you think. But, again, I'm not telling you you're wrong because I see it different, unless there's very clear evidence of that, right? But so here's the thing. I want to share this with you, but not in a way. The intention is not to, embarrass anybody. Let's see. I see that there is a reply to the one I wanted to comment on. Okay, so we got two thoughts here. So let me see if I can do this the way I want. Here's a comment on yesterday's unintended consequences, which had a meme that is based in part on something that I have been quoted to say, which is to fuck the fucking fuckers. The meme is not mine. It came from someone else. And it says, fuck the fucking fuckers before the fuckers fuck you. Man, all right. Couple of notes here on that. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to say that your meme is the exact opposite from what Jesus taught. We'll explore that. I'm not trying to insult you or insinuate anything, but just saying. Well, it's interesting, though, so let's have that conversation. So one of the things that I think people would be very surprised to know is, again, that the image that we're presented of Jesus is not always, accurate. What I was given when I was a kid in church was the fluffy bunny Jesus, right? Fluffy bunny Jesus wouldn't ever say or, do anything bad or mean. Right? And he said some actually pretty remarkable things. Among them are these, right? That when someone is a servant of the king, and you know that they're a servant of the king, you have, unless they are knowingly doing harm to someone, you have no input into the conversation between the master and his other servants. What Jesus said was, how be it for you to speak upon the master what he tells another servant, right? So he very clearly, let's sift this. Okay, so you recall, right, that Jesus said, right, in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? Everybody knows the story of when he went there and Judas came and betrayed him with a kiss. And in one version of the story, which I believe is John, it is Peter with the sword. In another version, it's some other unnamed person, but who takes a sword and cuts off the ear of the high priest, that'd be Caiaphas's servant. And Jesus said, enough of this, and puts his ear back. We're all familiar with that story. But are you familiar with the fact that just hours prior to that, in the book of Luke, chapter 22, at the Last Supper, when he's talking to Peter, and he says, this is where he tells Peter, verse 34, I tell you, the cock will... And so Peter is saying, I'll never leave you. And he says, I've prayed for you that you might not fall, and that when you are, that you get converted and strengthen thy brethren. And he said, Lord, I'm ready to go with thee both into prison and to death. And he said, I tell you, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day before you have thrice denied that you know me. Right? Everybody knows that story. Verse 36, and then he said to him, but now he that hath a... Okay, so he said, verse 35, when I sent you without a purse, right? He sent out the 72 to go around, and I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, and did you lack anything? And they said nothing. Well, they said, no, we didn't lack anything. Then he said to them, but now he that has a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip, and he that has no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. Read that again. But now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip, and he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say unto you that this is written, ye must be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said to them, it's enough. Let's not forget Ecclesiastes 3, to all things there is a season, even a time of killing. There's a time for war. There is a time to fuck the fucking fuckers. So here is what I would say, right? Again, my intention is not to shame or harm, but to answer, right? To answer this, that's the difference between a relationship and a religion. As a religion is drawn from the pages of the book, right? Relationship is drawn from the context of relationship. When you know the master, you don't have to question what his servant does, because you can tell. See, Jesus said, the greatest that is among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief, let him be that serves. For whether is greater, he that sits at the meat or he that serves? So, very clearly, he's telling us, right, that those who serve, if they serve well, don't bother them. There are people who openly teach the word that I disagree with sometimes, but we disagree on the viewpoints. I don't necessarily think that they are bad people or sinning or misleading people. Well, exactly, David. You know the tree by its fruit. We all make mistakes. Do I think that all my ways are clean? Absolutely not. But you know what? The parts that Dad is more unhappy with me about, very little to do with language, right? Although I can see in Scripture, if you go back and you study the original Scripture, Jesus said some pretty coarse things as well, considering the context of where he said it. Now, of course, we're told later on in the book of James, right? Don't use such coarse speech. Did Jesus sin by doing that? Of course not. His speech was not known to be coarse generally, but he wasn't above using, dropping an F-bomb here or there, right? So again, I didn't show you that person because I'm not attacking them. And I believe that I should be careful with the things that I say and what I do. But the things that he takes me to task with are far less about the things that I say and far more about how I treat people. Is it appropriate? Is it loving? Right? And so, frankly, I've taken on those others too who want to take me on and say I'm misleading people. In what way? In what way is telling people to go seek the Father misleading anyone? Right? Because nothing that I tell anybody is anything either than my opinion. And I say very clearly, I expect to be wrong in some things. I'm sure that I am. Go read the Scripture. Go talk to Dad. If that's misleading people, then you're barking up the wrong tree. You're in the wrong religion, Bubba. Because religion will not change your heart. Relationship, however, will. And I have said many times before that most of my relationship with Dad has been him taking me to task on who I am as a person. And so would I advocate for people to, fuck the fucking fuckers before they fuck you? No, not generally. I thought it was humorous because I say fuck the fucking fuckers, and I think you know where I come from on that. I'm like, I don't really care. I have no fear of man. I do not advocate harming other people. But Jesus also said, right? He said these two things. So now you've got to put them back together. He said to revile not those who accuse you unfairly, to love those who treat you poorly. If someone steals from you, don't resist them. If they take your coat, give them your shirt. If they sue you for a mile, walk with them 2 miles. Right? Okay, that guy. Same guy said, be as harmless as doves, but as wise as serpents. Right? So don't be naive when there are times when you let others take advantage of you, looking them in the eye, knowing that they've had the opportunity. Right? You're giving them the opportunity you're giving them enough rope to hang themselves. You're not being stupid, right? You're simply walking in with eyes open, but have your eyes open. I don't trust anyone who lies to me. Do I need to jump up and down and do calisthenics and out on the edge of the road so that everybody knows that the news media is lying? Fuck, you already know that. If you don't know that, what are we doing here? Right? So this is what I have to say, is that feel free to come at me if you think I've done wrong. Make that clear. But I would also adjure you to say in a way that is not simply you're doing it wrong. Okay, show me how to do better. Right? Give me something better to aspire to. Because in the current position, I feel like, again, I'm not trying to justify myself, but I do feel like at my own expense. I mean, and who cares, right, about that? I can come back to the words of Jesus on that, right? No one who has given up their land or their house or their wife or their family or their kids or any of these things, right, will not be repaid in the kingdom comes, right? But you have to be able to put that thing aside, those things aside that you want for the kingdom, right? And so I've taken this on again at my own expense. I'm not pushing back, just simply going, I do this because I felt compelled to, because I feel that it's helpful for some. And so and I'm willing to encourage and be helpful as much as I can. If it's not, then again, I won't. If it's harmful, absolutely won't do it. But if you feel like there's something you want to cast aspersions on, at least make it clear. The one's my favorite. Well, I'm not trying to argue, but and then they throw that one in there. Not this last person. I'm really okay with what you said. I would say, if that's a concern to you, you know what my email address is, right? Just hit me up. But it does seem that the point is to publicly castigate me, or it wouldn't have been there in the comments. It would have been in an email. That's what we're told to do, right? Is it just what Jesus said? If you see someone who is sinning, take them aside and talk to them. If they don't hear you, go to other people that they trust. And all of you get together and come talk to him, right? And if he refuses to hear you at that point, then perhaps there's a problem. Just saying. Well, there you go, David. And see, I agree with that because, that's something Jesus said. For him who knows good and doesn't do it, for him it is sin, right? If you know the right things to do those things. What I don't need to do is spend any of my time chasing others around saying how they're doing it wrong. And there are some people whose only content is just that, chasing other people around saying how evil they are and how they're doing it wrong. And you want to talk about swearing and bad language, there's plenty of those types out there. And they claim that they're doing it in the name of God. They're going to be real surprised, I guarantee you that. I rarely say things of absolutes, but that's one I'm pretty sure of, right? You're going to be surprised if you think that you're serving God in that way. Because that doesn't, these things the Lord does hate, right? These 5 things. Yes, 6 does the Lord find an abomination. And just look that up. You'll find it. It's a whole list of some of our friends out there. Anyway, my point here is not to be, in an aggravational mode or anything, but I'd simply go, look, I'm okay with, just to clarify, I'm okay with questions, challenges about thoughts or beliefs or any of this stuff. But again, if you want to help, come see me and email. Let's talk. If you want to do it openly as castigation, just like doing things, just like doing the positive, right? So Jesus said, if you give your alms before the poor, in a way that men can see you, you've gotten your reward, right? So if you've done this by castigating me in a comment message, so everyone else can see it, you've gotten your reward. You got to get your thing in there. If it's gross, you can expect I'll remove it. If not, I don't care. You can say, here's the thing. Don't presume you know what Jesus would think or see in a given situation. Here's the thing about that. I would say that's generally good advice, Illuminati, but I would also say I feel okay with much of that to my own conviction because I know him. Right? I know him personally. It's not a religion. It doesn't come from reading books and trying to amalgamate all the things that I've read into an understanding. Now, it helps, I suppose, to read all the things that he said before, but mostly what I get is direct conversation and communication. And so if a person thinks that they can try to figure out what Jesus would say based on what's written, yeah, I agree, good luck. But if you know him, right? I know my wife. I know what she would probably say in any given situation because I know her, not because I've seen her presented with that situation before, although I might have the longer I get to know her, right? And she might surprise me. She might do something totally different. And Jesus certainly did surprise me a lot. He did say a lot of things that were pretty surprising. So, yeah, again, guys, David, I appreciate it. And I appreciate those who want to come to my defense or whatever. And that, really, it's not my point at all to gang tackle anybody. Or just, again, my point being that, yes, we have different ways of seeing certain things. But whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, again, I would encourage, if you think that someone else who claims to be following the way, right, is doing something wrong, then talk to them. Explain why, and let them pray about it and think about it. Yeah, no, I get that, Illuminati. I mean, right, so again, I'm saying from both places, right? I was thinking about that very thing this morning, is that if you just read the words, right, then Jesus said specifically to the lawyer, right? He said, what does the law say and how do you read it? Right? Because he very specifically understood the difference between what you read and what you understand, because we have optimism bias, right? So that's where I say knowing the master, knowing the person who would have said it, gives you a much better chance at better understanding how they might respond to a certain thing, right? And if this is where, again, I come back to the idea that if you do not have this conversation, this ongoing relationship with your Creator, right? Just like the Pharisees were, they understood the law very well. They were deep into the law. And the more I read about where they were coming from, right, and read the things that they say, they had good arguments, just as the enemy has good arguments, right, about this argument of free will. He's got some pretty strong legal arguments. But if your measurement by whether or not you're doing okay is how you're doing compared to other people, then that you may need to check in on that, right? So I have never seen Dad approach anybody's behavior that way, right? By how well they're doing versus somebody else. It's how well they're doing in that relationship and what's the condition of their heart. And again, that's my observation. Yes, love and the light. We are all not given the exact same job. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And that's what the path about and the story about the gifts are about, right? That we're all given different gifts. And so not everyone has the same gifts and talents in doing anything or everything. All right. So, yeah, you need a different yardstick. That's for sure. right? So if you're given a different job, you're going to measure that differently. If you're, if the measurement to be is to be a tree, we're all going to be retarded because we're not trees. Oh, good. Thanks, Voynich. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys a great deal. Thanks for coming by this morning. I expect that I will be back this evening. I'm not going to give you 100% on that, depending on how I feel right now. But it is my expectation that I will be back again this evening. And I can't tell you for sure. I haven't checked any of my social media, so I don't know for sure what the state of Rose is and what this next week looks like in terms of Poppycock Report or any of that. I just don't know right now. I do know that I'll be trying to get some stuff done before the first of the year, or I guess it is the first year, before I return to work after the first of the year and try to change my the character and time of my employment. I am woohoo! I'm simply not with it this morning. I can tell you that. Getting a little bit distracted. What did the fish say when he hit the wall? He said, "Damn." Okay, so there's two fish. And they're sitting in a tank. One of them looks at the other and says, "Hey, do you know how to drive this thing?" Didn't see that coming, did you? All right. Okay, guys. So I will see you again likely this afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific time. As I think Wayne is going to join me again. Can't 100% guarantee it. Just depends on how things turn out. Yesterday was just a mess. And we'll see what today turns out like. But again, I will say for sure, don't let this morning's conversation prevent you from, if you see something that you think needs addressing, absolutely tell me about it. But bear in mind the vast difference between a religion and a relationship. So there you go with that. I hope that this has been an educational year for me, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Illuminate Me Reloaded and Rob and Love in the Light and Chelsea and Valley and David Reif and all the folks that dropped by this morning. Billing Tano, Flattership Bear, I see you made amazing progress. You got good enough to live in. That's awesome. And James from Germany and Mark Bloom. Again, thanks for coming by. I'll try to get a hold of you later today. I hope I'm holding up. Lewis, welcome again. It's, again, always a pleasure to have my friends here. And I will again hope to see you soon. I apologize profusely for being again a little bit under the weather, not quite myself of late, but we'll see what's happening. All right. So let's see if I can find some outro music for you today. We'll see what occurs here. Got that. Whoops. I'll go up here. Take a look at this, and this is an old version, very old version. And I'll do this one. It's called Still, vocals with Deanna Smith, and this is the old band, right? Joe Ray on guitar, Jim Rogers on drums. I was playing keys and vocals, backing vocals, and bass guitar. All right, so a little bit of that for you, and you guys be well as well. I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.
All of the sabihin.